my goodness. Whew, the power of choice. Oh, a traveler stood before two doors. One was gold and dazzling and labeled, all you ever wanted. The other door was plain, wooden, and it just had a plain sign that said, all you truly need. Most rushed into the first door. All I ever wanted? But the traveler paused. He listened. And a quiet voice inside whispered, look again. He chose the wooden door and stepped into a garden of peace, simplicity, and deep joy. All I ever needed. Sometimes what appears humble holds the truest treasures. Yeah. We must choose, but choose wisely. I told you last week that scene from Indiana Jones that I was going to name this talk, Choose Wisely, after this scene in the Indiana Jones movie, where I think they called him a guardian, and I forget the exact title of the guy on the left there, but he says he's got a room full of chalices because the search is for the Holy Grail. Okay. And so Indiana Jones is rushing to be the first to get that Holy Grail. And so, well, good morning. So he's looking at all of these grails, and the gentleman says, but you must choose wisely. And in comes two other people, a scientist and a doctor, and they rush in because they are on the race to get the Holy Grail. And he's looking at all these jeweled grails. Indiana Jones has stepped back. The woman who is with him, who is like a doctorate historian, she says, let me choose. I know which one it is. And she goes and she picks, of course, the most ornate chalice that she can. And now her job is to go and fill it up from the water with water and drink it, and you will have everlasting life. Anybody watch the movie? What happens? He takes it from her, dips it in the water, the professor, and drinks it down, and gone. We could not show this clip because it was just too horrific to watch in church. But he's gone. So now Indiana Jones' turn to choose it. Remember? Which one does he choose? The plain wooden chalice. But remember, in the scene, he thought first. He didn't rush up there to choose. Because the man, the guardian said, you must choose, but choose wisely. Discernment versus appearance. I feel like that's what that message is about. In the movie, the humble wooden cup was the true grail, while the flashy gold ones were traps. Spiritual truth is often hidden beneath humble appearances, people. True? People look at outward appearances, but spirit looks at the heart. That is actually out of 1 Samuel. Humility over ego. Jesus was a carpenter, so of course the grail was made from simple piece of wood, right? Let's go to that next one there, please. Choosing wisely means choosing service, compassion, humility. I added the WWJD because I'm telling you, people, nowadays, as you get bombarded with information highway, whether it's true or not, we're being bombarded by it. Ask yourself, is this WWJD? Is this what would Jesus do? I don't know about you, but I'm hearing an awful lot of words of hate. Actually, I'm hearing the word hate. I don't know for you, and this is going to be another talk probably next week, because I grew up in a family that hate is a strong word. You do not ever use that word in a sentence. You do never, ever say that about somebody, Kathy, no matter how that kid in the class injured me and hurt my feelings, and I hate him, Mom. So did I get in trouble for that one? Right? No, you never use that word. So I'm just telling you, sometimes it's as simple to just ask yourself, WWJD. We get to choose a grail every moment of every day, if you really think about it. And we get to choose flashy stuff. And I'm not saying flashy is all bad, but I'm saying that we're being drawn by an illusion. People, look at commercials. What do commercials do? They draw us in to buy something because there's an illusion that if we buy it, we're going to, does anybody get this on their Facebook feed? How you're going to lose 20 pounds in your waistline if you do this recipe? And all these recipes are different, but look at me, right? Illusions, illusions, illusions. So, how do we choose wisely? Well, when we hear the words choose wisely, we often think that that's a moment of decision, that crossroads where we have to make a choice, right? But Catherine Ponder, and you're going to hear this woman's name often today. Catherine Ponder is one of our dearest and beloved Unity authors. She made her transition quite a few years ago, but boy, her writings are still beneficial today in how to live your life. She reminds us that the process of choosing, when you choose wisely, begins long before the moment that you make the choice. It begins in the mind, and it begins with right thinking. Many of you people, if you have called or I'm talking to you personally and you need a prayer, you're going to hear me say, we got to get you into right thinking. We've got to move into right thinking. We can't expect healing. We can't expect prosperity. We can't expect that until we get ourselves into right thinking. When we think thoughts of fear and scarcity or ego, our decisions will reflect that. Anybody experience that? Yes. Thank you, Tony. You and I are honest. We're willing to raise our hand to admit, yes, we all have fear thoughts and we all have scarcity thoughts. Be honest with yourself. You may not stay there, but you have moments when you have those thoughts, and the key is to get yourself back into thinking rightly, because when you can think rightly, I'm telling you, I'm just going to use it right now, that the chaplains, before they go into prayer with you in that prayer room, they know that their job is to get thinking rightly before they can even show up for you in that room to pray with you. Healing energy is going to take place here after the service today, where the practitioners circle around you. These practitioners are trained, and I'm going to look at every one of you with green stoles on, to get yourselves thinking rightly before the process starts. Is that correct? I want to make sure that you all are doing that, because how can we expect anything to change if we are not ourselves thinking rightly? When Indiana Jones chose the Holy Grail, he didn't just guess. He paused and he reflected. He let go of the glittering illusions and trusted what he felt was true. What thoughts are shaping your choices nowadays? Are they grounded in truth? Are they grounded in illusion? I'm just telling you that I know what I'm being bombarded with on Facebook and my news. And there is an illusion to this, whether it's to want to buy that product or do the recipe, or if it's a want to believe in this dramatic story that, and then what happens to me when I get into the illusion of the dramatic story? What happens to me? What happens to you if you get hooked into the dramatic stories that are being bombarded? What are you at peace? Or are you in pain? There we go. I'll just simplify it. Since nobody's answering, are you in peace or pain? Right? I'm not seeing a lot of people going kumbaya when they're looking at their apps. I just don't, unless you're listening to the Om app or the Calm app, right? So this iconic movie mirrors our spiritual journey. We're surrounded by illusions. We must pause, reflect. We would say, pray, pause, pray, and then choose. And choose life-giving choices, not choose, I choose that one, right? You're already out of right thinking. So if that's the case, if you find yourself doing this, get back into the pause and the pray, because you're not ready to proceed. Prayer chaplains, if you are not ready to go in that prayer room, don't go. Excuse yourself and say, I will be back in 1 minute. I just need to walk into this sanctuary and get myself back. Right thinking, and then proceed, Right thinking followed by right action produces results. I look around at some of you that are in the healing mode of cancer diagnosis. Right thinking followed by right action produces results. Unity teaches that what we see out there is shaped by our consciousness. We've got to look past the illusions to the truth that we know. Let's go to that next slide there. Okay, I think there's a typo on this one, because it says if outer doors seem to close to you, seems to me that do not hesitate. So to me, this sounds like it's meaning if the outer door is closed, or it seems that it's closed to me, do not hesitate. Persist in inner preparations. This is a key line there. Persist in inner preparations. The inner realm of thought controls all outer action. This is a good one to take a picture of and blow it up. Share it. When you get the right attitude, the outer world of results and personalities must conform to it. This is the law of mind action. People, if we want to heal division in our world, it's got to start with us. And it isn't going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a year. This divisiveness has happened over eons. We don't want to admit that, but it has. This didn't happen overnight. So our job is to get ourselves into right thinking before we act on anything. Persist on inner preparations. Okay. Most of you know at the annual meeting that we had back in March that Kathy, when I did my minister's report, I shared with you that I had an 11-year dream of getting a digital sign out there on Cheviot Road. For 11 years, I've been visioning this. When Jimmy Weimar made his transition, he very smartly did a really cool thing that I had never heard about. He was on Medicaid, but I went to visit him on one of my Medi visits, and he handed me a check. I shared this at the annual meeting for $11,000. He said, Kathy, I'm on Medicaid. I can no longer give to the church. I can't do my weekly offering, but I can prepay for my funeral. give me the most expensive funeral that you can, watch,
Wink, wink.
and go get that sign. This was 11 years ago, people. 11 years ago. That planted seed money for a very expensive sign. 11 years, I have been in inner preparation, knowing that someday we are going to have that sign. As a result of that annual meeting, there have been people that have come forward to help support this project. We are close enough to where we need it to go and price the sign, get contractors. The building facilities team met for the last 6 months, I think, picking a contractor, the right contractor to do the sign, picking the right sign company. Now, once you do that, now you got to go to Colerain Township for your permit. Closed doors. Closed doors. Now you can't have this and you can't have that. You can only do this and only do this. And of course, Kathy says, I can't believe this to them. I can't believe that we made these changes in October of 2024. Now, you don't think my ego went, if we would have only done this 6 months ago, we wouldn't have this barrier, right, with all these restrictions. They're on a vendetta about electronic digital signs right now. I don't know how to make this story shorter, but this is a big learning point, people. And I'll tell you who I learned this from. I learned it from the old Unity people in this church. Who has been attending this church 20 years or more? Be honest. Take a look. You're my teachers because I witness how you practice these principles. The ministers prior to me, I watched and I absorbed from them like a sponge because they were having wonderful results in their life. And it wasn't Pollyannish. It wasn't drinking Kool-Aid. It was practicing the principles. So I'm just telling you, okay, so we get a wall. Trust me, it's not the first wall. Okay, so we're going to go ahead to Colerain Township and we're going to abide by their rules. So now we get everything drawn up, we take it, and we say that we're going to do all their restrictions. Well, never met them in person. This is all phone calls and emails that are happening. Now, I forgot to tell you, because I do need to say to this person that I'm talking to with the zoning committee, he's saying, no. And I said, have you ever owned your own business? Because I said small businesses and small churches are struggling, and we need electronic signs. It's proven. Nowadays, people don't read. And if it isn't moving, they don't read it. Isn't that the truth? You do it yourself on your Facebook feed. Boring. Oh, that's moving. You don't do it consciously, but it's true. I say that to him. So I say, have you ever owned your own business? And he says, no. And that's when I said about we're struggling. Well, okay. So now we got to submit everything. And he says, oh, wait a minute. You are not on a corner lot. So therefore, if you get an electronic sign out there, you have to take down the one on Galbraith Road. You can only have one sign because you're not a corner property. I'm like, we're not a corner property. Are you kidding? There's two. This is me. There's two entrances. And this is when I left for 9 days to go to Michigan to get on the sailboat with Michael. And I decided, pause. I want it so bad because that's 9 days worth of time that I'm trying to get this sign done and moving. Now, Kathy, 25 years ago, would have said, I am not leaving until I get this resolved because I'm a get her done girl. I've changed in 25 years. And I said to myself, take the file, leave it on your desk. Don't take it with you. So I come back, and I still haven't made a decision on how I'm going to approach this, but I'm not giving up, and I'm not throwing in the towel, but I'm going to do it through compassion and love. I know this stuff works. So we now fill out the application for a variance that we want to have both signs, okay? And so we have to submit it electronically, and we do, but as soon as we hit submit, I had Judy, our ops manager, print everything off, put it in a nice packet, and I beelined over to the Zoning Board of Appeals. And I go in, and you're behind a glass, and so I'm waiting. They had me wait for a half an hour. Nobody's in there, but they had me sit for a half an hour behind on the other side of the glass, and a gentleman comes up, and he says, can I help you? And I said, yes, I'm here to see David Peters. And you are? And I said, I'm Kathy Engelhardt from Unity of Garden Park. Oh, then I guess you're here to see me. And I said, oh, you're David Peters? I get up and I go, nice to meet you, as I shove my hand through the glass, the opening in the glass. I shove my hand, nothing. But you know me. Most of you all know me. I'm like, nice to meet you. Eventually put his hand out and shook my hand and then took me back. Okay, within 5 minutes, I still am saying, I can't believe we're having to do this. And now this is going to delay us another 60 days till the next meeting so that I can, and I forgot to tell you before, he said, and by the way, I'm on the zone of appeals, and I won't approve it. So, okay, well, there's 4 other people there that might approve it. So anyway, so long story now, because it could get a lot longer, but he says, within 5 minutes, he says, he leans over and he goes, you're a lot brighter light than I expected. That was it. We still got a file, everything. Now it's $500. Oh, wait a minute. It's now, the state of Ohio raised it $200, so now it's $700 for the permit, non-refundable. And I'm like, $700? I said, do you know that's a lot of money for our church? And he's like, now, meanwhile, there's another guy over here, and he says, let's go ahead and waive the $200. I'm like, thank you. All right, I leave. That morning, I felt like a weight was off of me. We're at least moving. We're going to wait until August, end of August, for this meeting. It's movement, right? And I am not angry. I am not worried. We prayed over that document before I took it for the best and highest good for all. And I kept working on being in right thinking. And I'm looking at chaplains, and I'm looking at people that know what I'm talking about, to stay in right thinking and not get hooked by this gentleman who thinks that we're not corner property, all right? And so I'm coming to work, and I get a phone call, and it's him because I put him in my address book. And he says, Kathy, I've been thinking this morning, and technically, I guess we could call you a corner property. And if we do that, then you won't have to file a variance at all. Seriously. He said, you can come pick up your $500 check, but you will have to pay state of Ohio fee of $270, $2.70 per square foot of your sign. Too much information. Anyway, we're going to get that digital sign, and we don't have to wait. On Tuesday afternoon, we called the contractor and said, order it. We are going to get it. I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up. People, I'm walking out here because I want you to realize how serious I am about these principles. This is not made up stuff. People, Sandy, I look at you. You've been living this for how many years? 40? 1968. Do the math. That is almost 60 years. That's a long time. This is how you change your life. And when you change your life, you're going to change your world. You might just change the people around you, but the ripple effect that takes place when we do this kind of stuff. So when you call me and you're struggling, don't think that I'm handing you a line of BS. And when I say we got to get into right thinking, let's hold the right thinking. Catherine Ponder's work is amazing. I got to get moving here, don't I? Let's go to that. You're free to choose, but you are not free from the consequences of your choices.